gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening. We're starting with a surge in needle stick injuries among our sanitation crews, followed by a breakthrough identification of a 9/11 victim after 25 years. Traffic's moderate with lane closures, and tonight's summer forecast brings a breezy 90-degree high. Over to you, Andre.
Bryant Park's summer series continues, offering free outdoor movie nights each Thursday at 7 p.m., showcasing classic and contemporary films for families across Manhattan.
Attendees gather on the Great Lawn, where blankets and portable chairs are welcome, and nearby food vendors provide popcorn, pretzels, and soft drinks throughout the evening.
This Thursday's feature is the 1952 musical Singin' in the Rain, presented by the Department of Parks and Recreation, with screenings starting promptly at 7 p.m.
Lots to get to, let's begin, and enjoy the evening's community spirit as the city gathers under the stars for another unforgettable Bryant Park movie night. Here are our top stories. Sanitation crews across the city report a surge in needle stick injuries, officials say, as discarded GLP-1 weight loss medication sharps become more common in the waste stream. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
Sanitation crews on the streets are reporting a noticeable uptick in needle stick injuries this week. A trend officials say ties directly to the surge in discarded syringes from GLP-1 weight loss drugs. Workers handling trash in several boroughs told department supervisors that they're encountering more used needles tucked inside bags of residential waste, especially in high-rise apartment complexes. The Health and Safety Unit has logged dozens of incidents over the past month, prompting a review of protective gear and disposal guidelines. Officials warn that the rise mirrors broader consumer use of injectable weight loss medications, which are ending up in the city's landfill stream. The department is urging residents to place sharps in approved containers, while crews continue their routes under heightened caution. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, New York City.
New York City officials announced today that the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner has identified a previously unknown victim of the September 11th attacks, bringing closure to a family after 25 years of uncertainty. Using breakthrough forensic DNA techniques, investigators matched the remains to a single individual who had remained unnamed among the nearly 3,000 fatalities. The identification marks the first new victim named since the original recovery effort and underscores the progress of modern genetic analysis. Family members who have waited decades for answers were presented with the results in a private ceremony at the OCME headquarters. Authorities said the case illustrates how advanced testing continues to resolve long-standing mysteries from the tragedy, offering a measure of solace to those still grieving. The city's forensic community hopes further applications will bring additional identifications in the coming months.
Mayor Eric Mamdani announced today that the city will erect a temporary highway along Furman Street in Brooklyn Heights to allow reconstruction of the adjacent triple cantilever segment of the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. The makeshift roadway, designed to divert traffic while crews replace the crumbling section, is expected to span roughly a quarter of a mile and will include protective barriers and detour signage. Officials say the project marks the largest infrastructure undertaking since the new mayor took office at the start of the year, aiming to restore a critical commuter artery that carries thousands of vehicles daily. Construction crews are slated to begin work within weeks, with an anticipated completion timeline of several months, pending weather and traffic conditions. The city urges motorists to follow posted detours and anticipate delays throughout the duration.
Earlier today, a group of individuals climbed out of a manhole at West 31st Street and 7th Avenue near Penn Station, marking the latest in a series of similar incidents following Brooklyn sightings. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
A small crowd emerged from a manhole on West 31st Street, just off 7th Avenue, a block from Penn Station. Witnesses said the group climbed up the ladder inside the cover and stepped onto the sidewalk, drawing curious onlookers. No injuries were reported, and city workers quickly secured the opening. Police arrived within minutes to direct traffic and assess the situation. The incident comes after a series of similar manhole sightings in Brooklyn earlier this year, prompting officials to review maintenance schedules for underground utilities. The scene unfolded in the late afternoon, as commuters streamed past the station and glanced at the unexpected gathering. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Midtown.
Queens Council member Phil Wong pressed city officials today to boost funding for flood prevention infrastructure across the borough. Citing a pattern of more intense storms and recent inundation events, Wong warned that existing defenses are insufficient for the escalating risk. He called on the mayor's office and the Department of Environmental Protection to allocate additional resources for stormwater upgrades, shoreline barriers, and community resilience projects. The council member highlighted that neighborhoods from Astoria to Jamaica Bay have already seen property damage and disrupted transit during heavy rains. Wong argued that proactive investment now could avoid costly repairs and protect vulnerable residents later. City leaders have not yet responded, but the plea adds pressure to a budget discussion already focused on climate adaptation and public safety. Without swift action, officials fear that future deluges could overwhelm drainage systems and displace families across the borough. Later we'll hear how East New York residents are buying vacant lots to revitalize their neighborhood, plus a weather look. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. County Executive Steve McLaughlin and Undersheriff Michael DiNardo told reporters this morning they will not enforce the state law that curtails local cooperation with immigration and customs enforcement. The newly enacted New York legislation bars police departments from detaining individuals at the request of federal immigration agents unless a judicial warrant is present. McLaughlin said Rensselaer County will continue to prioritize public safety resources for local crimes rather than immigration matters. DiNardo added that any future collaboration with ICE would be limited to cases involving violent felonies already under state jurisdiction. The decision places Rensselaer among a growing list of jurisdictions resisting the state mandate, underscoring the tension between state policy and local law enforcement autonomy. State officials warned that non-compliance could trigger legal challenges and loss of state funding for law enforcement programs. Rensselaer leaders said they will defend their position in court if necessary, emphasizing the need to focus on safety.
East New York residents are buying vacant lots on Jamaica Avenue, totaling roughly 9,500 square feet, to transform empty spaces into community assets. The effort is ongoing. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
On Jamaica Avenue, a group of East New York residents led by Deborah Ack is quietly buying vacant lots, one parcel at a time. Their goal is to turn the roughly 9,500 square foot spaces, long left empty amid industrial warehouses, into usable community assets. So far the effort has focused on properties that sit between row houses and storefronts, converting blighted land into gardens, playgrounds, or small business sites. Residents say each purchase restores a piece of the neighborhood's fabric, offering space for kids to play and neighbors to gather. The initiative reflects a broader push to reshape East New York's streetscape, replacing decay with purpose-built public use. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, East New York.
Yesterday, the city ordered the dog run at Herbert Von King Park in Bedford-Stuyvesant to shut down after soil tests uncovered arsenic and mercury. Officials said the contamination poses a health risk to pets and people, prompting an immediate closure of the popular play area. The Canine Zone, a daily gathering spot for local residents, remains inaccessible while crews collect additional samples and devise a cleanup plan. The Department of Parks and Recreation has not set a reopening timeline, but warned the area will stay closed until tests confirm the soil is safe. The New York City Health Department will oversee remediation, and city officials have pledged resources to address the problem promptly. Community leaders voiced concern that the shutdown removes a vital summer amenity for Bed-Stuy families and their dogs.
Authorities intervened on the Coney Island boardwalk after a man displayed a Burmese python to a crowd of roughly a dozen onlookers. The encounter occurred in July when the boardwalk draws large crowds of tourists and locals alike. Environmental officers, enforcing state regulations that ban the possession of non-native exotic reptiles, seized the several-foot snake and issued a citation for violating the invasive species statute. The reptile, a large constrictor illegal to own or showcase in New York, was taken into custody for safe removal. Officials noted that the incident underscores ongoing concerns about invasive species which can threaten local ecosystems if released. The man received a fine under the city's Wildlife Protection Code, and the python will be transferred to a licensed facility for proper care. No injuries were reported, and the boardwalk returned to normal after officers cleared the area.
Police hovercraft from the Suffolk County Marine Bureau rescued a family whose boat grounded near Fire Island Inlet, treating a 2-year-old for minor injuries. Rothdell Brannigan has the full story.
A hovercraft from the Suffolk County Police Marine Bureau skimmed across the choppy water of Fire Island Inlet early Tuesday, pulling a family from a boat that had run aground just off the sandbars. The vessel, a small fishing craft, became stuck as the tide shifted, leaving the occupants stranded for several minutes before rescuers arrived. Officers lifted the passengers onto the hovercraft, where medics examined a 2-year-old who had suffered a minor scrape on the knee. The child's injuries were treated on the spot, and the family was taken to a nearby shore for further assistance. The hovercraft then returned to patrol, ready for any additional calls. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, Fire Island.
Let's get a look at your evening forecast with our meteorologist, Alex, coming up now.
A swaying southwest, jet stream and rising pressure are locking in clear skies and mild evening temperatures. On this date, the city's all-time heat mark stands at 91 degrees, set during the late summer surge of 2021. That blistering peak arrived with a stalled high-pressure ridge that choked off any Atlantic breezes. The cold extreme is 51 degrees, recorded in 2013 when an Arctic front plunged down the east coast, snapping temperatures well below the seasonal norm. Normal highs hover around 78 degrees and lows near 63, so today's 81-degree reading sits comfortably between those historic outliers. Zooming in on the live radar, the screen is blank across the tri-state area. No rain echoes from the Hudson, nor any lingering showers from the interior. The absence of returns confirms the dry, stable air mass the rising pressure is ushering in, while the southwest jet overhead sweeps any moisture eastward. With the last cell cleared hours ago, we can pivot to tonight's short-term outlook. At 6 p.m., the city sits under a clear dome with a temperature of 81 degrees, humidity at 48%, and a southwest breeze ticking 11 miles per hour, gusting up to 21. The near-average pressure is nudging upward, sealing in the dry air that has been draining out from the Atlantic. Overhead, a 70-mile-per-hour southwest jet stream channels upper-level energy, keeping any lingering moisture aloft and out of reach. With the sun still lingering, the UV index reads 6, while wind gusts hover near 20 miles per hour, feeling brisk across the skyline. No watches or warnings are in effect, and the clear sky is set to hold through the night, giving way to a calm early morning. Now let's glance at the 5-day trend. Tuesday will stay dry with a high of 79 and a low of 61, the sky remaining clear and the southwest flow easing to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday pushes the high back up to 81, but cloud cover thickens, bringing an overcast afternoon that will keep the low at 61. Thursday marks the first rain of the stretch, a light shower regime with a 55% chance, temperatures lingering at 77 high and a warm low of 70, while breezy southwest winds near 15 miles per hour add a fresh feel. Friday returns to overcast conditions, reaching 82 degrees at peak and cooling to 68 after dark. Saturday caps the period with another clear day, high 81 and low 68, offering a quiet end to the week. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic delays from construction, the new Whole Foods flagship opening, and a look at the Yankees bullpen call-up. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
The biggest hit to commuters right now is the Port Authority North Tube, closed through 5 a.m., pushing traffic into the Lincoln Tunnel and I-95. On the subway, 3 Brooklyn-Queens lines are fully suspended. Court Square to Bedford-Nostrand for signal modernization, Broadway Junction to Canarsie-Rockaway Parkway for track work, and Queensboro Plaza to Times Square for track replacement. That removes a key east-west link for riders across the boroughs. On the roads, the Brooklyn Bridge Bikeway and the left Manhattan-bound lane remain closed, adding queues on the FDR Drive and the East River bridges. The Park Avenue Viaduct northbound stays shut until August 28, while the Rockaway Viaduct line is under concrete restoration until 3:30 p.m. each weekday. The Belt Parkway Bridge also runs a single lane tonight and 2 lanes early tomorrow. Aside from those hotspots, most Manhattan streets are moving freely, but expect lingering backups on the Bridge, Park Avenue, and the Belt Parkway through the afternoon.
First up, the Pee Wee Herman Look-alike contest rolls into Coney Island, USA today, marking the 40th anniversary of Pee Wee's Big Adventure. If you've got a bow tie and a big grin, it's your moment to shine. Over in Midtown, NY's biggest business, tech and entrepreneur networking affair is buzzing at Dawson 39, a chance for professionals to swap ideas and maybe land a new partnership. For families, summer on the Hudson, Art in the Park is in full swing at the Riverbank Playground in Riverside Park, where interactive projects let kids get messy and creative under the summer sun. And tonight, Bryant Park Lawn will host a free outdoor screening of King Creole, a classic Elvis film that's perfect for a breezy evening under the stars. Looking ahead, the U.S. Open mixed doubles kick off tomorrow at Flushing Meadows, so keep an eye on the courts for the next generation of tennis stars. And now here's Desmond with sports.
Big moves in the Bronx, a new pitch in the rotation, and Brooklyn buzz. After a weekend shake-up involving Giancarlo Stanton and Ryan Weathers, the Yankees promoted veteran right-hander Justin Topa, a Binghamton native who logged 172 Major League games over 7 seasons with the Brewers, Mariners, and Twins. He replaces Brendan Beck on the roster for the upcoming Astros series. Carlos Rodon's revived sinker is giving the Yankees a soft contact weapon, especially against left-handed hitters. The staff's renewed focus on spreading the pitch across the rotation could tighten the bottom of the staff and offset recent injury concerns. Brooklyn fans weighed in on Netscom's season-end poll, debating whether the team can break past the middle of the conference or settle for a rebuilding year. The results will shape early off-season expectations and could influence the front office's next roster moves. Stay tuned, the city's sports pulse never misses a beat.
Thanks, Desmond. Whole Foods Market on 42nd Street in Midtown Manhattan is unveiling its new flagship store, a 30,000 square foot space that will soon buzz with shoppers from the office towers to the residential towers nearby. The market expands its footprint with a broader selection of organic produce, ready-to-eat meals, and a curated aisle of New York-made goods, aiming to serve both the fast-paced commuter crowd and the neighborhood families. The opening brings a dozen new jobs and reinforces confidence in a post-pandemic city that continues to demand quality food options. For New Yorkers, a Whole Foods on the Avenue means fresh, sustainable choices just steps from the subway, a small but vital piece of the city's daily rhythm. Next, we'll look at safety upgrades starting on Jersey City's JFK Boulevard and the recent decline in homeless deaths. Stay tuned. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Construction crews have begun safety upgrades on a 12-mile stretch of JFK Boulevard in Journal Square, aiming to reduce accidents on one of Jersey City's most hazardous streets. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
Construction crews rolled out early this morning along a 2-mile stretch of JFK Boulevard in Journal Square, setting up temporary barriers, signage, and concrete median upgrades. The project, slated to run for 18 months, kicks off on August 24, 2026, after city officials flagged the corridor as one of the most dangerous in Jersey City. Workers are installing new crosswalk lighting, pedestrian islands, and reinforced guardrails, while traffic is being shifted onto the outer lanes with reduced speed limits. The plan also includes resurfacing the pavement and adding advance warning signs at key intersections to curb the high accident rate that has plagued the area. Residents can expect detours and intermittent lane closures through the duration of the work. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Journal Square.
Homeless deaths fell across New York City last year despite the shelter count staying at a historic high, with drug-related incidents still accounting for most fatalities. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
Deaths among New York's homeless fell in 2025, even as the city's shelter count held steady at a historic high. City officials say the overall homeless population remained unchanged from the year before, while the mortality figure dropped, with the majority of the fatalities tied to drug-related causes. Outreach teams on the streets report a noticeable shift in the patterns of overdose incidents, though the number of people sleeping rough stays at its peak. Health agencies continue to monitor the trend, noting that while fewer lives were lost, the underlying risks have not disappeared. The city's housing and health services are still grappling with the dual challenge of a record-sized population and persistent drug use. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, Manhattan.
Thank you, New York City, for joining us on the local sunset. Tonight's highlight, seeing a hovercraft rescue a family stranded at Fire Island, reminded us of the city's resilience. I'm Vivian Castellanos. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay safe and good night.